Hello, a beer review tonight. I have another one-day weekend. I love my job. Work nights, and they give you one day off, and you're back to work the next night. Well, the pay's good. That's something. So tonight I'm going to do a beer that I've never had before. A hard to find beer. I went to Ithaca Finger Lakes Beverage, about 25-mile drive from me, to get this, and I had to look up how to pronounce the name of this beer. It's Polish. That's right, this is Polish beer. It's a Baltic Porter. And anything, in my experience, that comes from those areas, Slavic areas in general, and it has to do with beer, wine, or whatever, it's going to be pretty strong. And this Baltic Porter, it's called ŻYWIEC. I had to look it up. How do you pronounce that? Because reading this, there's absolutely no way that I get ŻYWIEC out of this. But fortunately, we live in a modern era of technology, and you better believe there's all kinds of people on the internet, on YouTube and other sites, telling you how to pronounce this, including one drunken Polish man. And he said, ŻYWIEC. As he hosted a glass, he looked pretty buzzed. He was having a good time, I guess. But you know those people take their drinking very seriously. And I don't mean seriously as in they know they got drinking problems, you know, with the vodka. And beer is not even considered alcohol by some of them, unless it's a Baltic Porter, because this beer weighs in at 9.5% alcohol. 9.5% alcohol. It's brewed in ŻYWIEC, Poland. The name of the beer is actually the name of the city and a brewery, ŻYWIEC Brewery, which has been around since 1856, and it was given a brewing license by the Habsburg dynasty in 1856, what I read on it. They said there was a crown on the label, but I don't see one. They've been brewing ŻYWIEC Baltic Porter since 1888. And these are people that like their drink strong, decidedly. Right? Right. ŻYWIEC, yeah. ŻYWIEC. So I bought one bottle of this. This bottle cost me a little over $3. And I was going to buy 2 bottles, but I didn't know if I'd like it or not. I do like porter. Now, porter is an English style porter. And it came about in London as porter is just a dark ale. And so this is a dark ale, but a very strong one. But it came around, like porters were working class in London. If you got off a train, or you needed a ride, or you needed your shoes shined, or needed somebody to carry your baggage, there was always plenty of guys around, you know, to hire out to do that for you. They were called porters. They just helped you carry your baggage, or they may do anything from like that to shine your shoes, to give you a ride somewhere in a horse and buggy, I don't know. But they were just general people for hire, in a decent way, I think. The porters. So the working class of London came to drink a dark ale, and it became known as porter. So we have Baltic Porter, Baltic, which means basically from the Balkans area, Baltic Sea area, which also means to me strong. Just like Imperial Russian Stout, very strong. Baltic Porter, 9.5% alcohol. Now, what I could find out about this beer, other than what I've told you already, is that they used 4 different grains in it. I couldn't find much on it. It's been around for a while. There's quite a bit on this. But they all say the same thing. It's got a lot of character. Some people are nuts about it, some people aren't. So, 45 IBUs, 9.5% alcohol. we'll see how well they balance that, you know, with the hops and the malt. So there you have it. There's the label. Been an interesting day. I've got the night off, obviously. Been an interesting day in ways. I might tell a ghost story. I don't know. I've had a visitor. I don't want to get into it right now, but definitely had a visitor. Invisible. Nothing threatening that I could tell, discern anything threatening. All right, open this thing up. Find something to open it with. Get into this ŻYWIEC. Yeah, ŻYWIEC. Like strongman beer, right? ŻYWIEC. Drink ŻYWIEC. I'm having a ŻYWIEC. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can open up this bottle of ŻYWIEC. Perfect. Ugh. Didn't get any hiss. Is that a crown top or? Yep, it's a crown top bottle. Nice looking big old bottle here. Smells like molasses. I like that. Smells like a stout more than a porter. I mean, what's the difference? A stout is a strong dark ale. You know, if you look up the definition of stout, even though it's a style of beer now, but by definition, originally, stout, which means strong, it's a strong dark ale. So what's a porter? A porter is a dark ale. You know, and this is a strong dark ale. So this is really kind of a stout. I smell molasses, honestly. It smells like molasses. Well, let's see what we got here. Trying to figure out how to get the best lighting on this. Oh, it's dark brown. It's dark brown. Effervescent, kind of very clear. Very clear dark brown. Very pretty actually through this glass. Oh my. Smells like molasses. I get molasses and chocolate. Got a nice, kind of not much of a head. Well, considering the glass I'm using, that's not a bad head. This size and shape of mug, which I consider this a snifter, like a brandy snifter. It really doesn't, even I know beers that have a good head on them, it doesn't show up on this glass very well. I mean, because something about the size and shape of this, it seems to keep the carbonation inside. Now the beer, I can tell you, is about 45 degrees. You're just going to have to trust me on that because I don't have the thermometer. I can't see through it there, but here you can see you see the color. It's dark red, brown. I like it. So that's the smell. It smells to me of molasses. Not overpoweringly so. Yeah, definitely smells like beer, but a molasses smell. And you can see the appearance. All right, so let me tell you what I think of it, the way it tastes. I like it. I like it a lot. It tastes like it smells. It tastes, well, not quite so much like molasses. It's got a very complex, kind of nutty, chocolatey, toffee, coffee, molasses, very complex flavor. I'm getting bitterness now, sour. That's pretty good. Oh, it does have carbonation in it. That is pretty good. Oh, man. I wish I bought 2 of these now. But I didn't. Hard to find this beer. The place I got it, that's all they sell is beer. In the city of Ithaca, New York, small city, population somewhere around 55,000, which is a lot bigger than my town of like less than 2,000 in my town, the city of Ithaca. But they have Cornell University there, and it's off Cayuga Lake. It's a nice town, really. I'll be flying out of there in less than 3 weeks from this video to Paris and on to Bretagne. And I'll be posting some videos and possibly some food and drink reviews, change of scenery. Oh yeah. That's really, it's pretty good. They've been brewing this since 1888. I can see why. It's pretty good. I don't know if I'd like it warm or any warmer, but cold like it is, it's medium bodied. I don't taste the alcohol in it, which is good. 9.5% alcohol. I mean, this beer's got enough weight to it, you know, in terms of 4 grains. 45 IBUs is a respectable amount of hops. They have managed to mask the alcohol flavor in it, which to me is excellent. I don't like to taste alcohol in my beer. There may be a few people that do, but most people don't. Beer connoisseurs, beer snobs like myself. I definitely couldn't drink this beer fast. Not at my age, anyway. Probably just as well. It's actually not exactly, well, I don't know, $3.50 for a big bottle like this. Can't really complain. They come from all the way over Poland. So, the beer seems to be available throughout Europe, from what I've seen. Like I said, reviews I read on it, I didn't read a lot. People either love this beer a lot, or they could take it or leave it. It has definitely got a lot of character to it. I mean, some people when they sit down to drink a beer, they're not looking for a lot of character in the beer. They just want a cold, refreshing drink. You know, and that's to each their own. This beer it has character. It has gusto, I would say. Definitely has gusto. Still has some little lacy head in there. Effervescent. Get a decent lacing for this glass. I'm getting some lacing. This is a good beer. Definitely. I wish it were more available. This is pretty good. I mean, I'm kind of drinking it faster than I would normally because, you know, I'm on a beer review. I'm going to talk about beer. I just did a tribute video to my father that I'm editing. It's like an hour and 40 minutes long. And I put every photograph I could find of him and his family going all the way back to the 1800s. My father was born in 1918. And his World War II pictures, pictures of, yeah, him as a young man, him as a middle-aged man, him as an elderly man, and I talk about him. It's a tribute to my dad, which is long overdue. And I'll tell you, I feel like, I think the things we say and do here are heard in the other realm by some. I think our prayers are heard by God more than we realize. And I just think my dad really wanted me to get this video done to acknowledge his life, you know, and put it up for the public and for the family. It's more like something for the family because I went to my mom's house in 2006 and I went through it and took every family picture I could find and 300 some pictures and scanned them high quality and put them on disc and mailed them all out to the family all over the place. And I gave the pictures back to my mom, and they have been lost when she lost her house. So, you know, by me posting this video and all the pictures and me talking about the pictures and things, it's also a way to keep the pictures because they'll be up there. And if anybody down the road, my children or grandchildren, look at these pictures and wonder who these people were, well, I talk about who they were. I talk about people from like 1915. That guy's nickname was Buzz. He had a really great sense of humor. You know, things my dad told me about these people. They were farmers. Some of them were German. Some of them were Scottish. Descendants, Mennonites, German, Swiss Mennonites. And half the family was Swiss Mennonites, and the other half of his family, my father's family, were direct immigrants from Scotland. I talk about that. I talk about his life. I talk about his life. Actually, he had a very full life. And he did a lot of things, too. A lot. Anywhere he hopped the trains with hobo camps in the 1930s. I wound up in Brooklyn, played semi-pro baseball, wound up throughout World War II. And then he worked for NASA, of all things, as an engineer and other places. And so on and so forth. This would be a good beer to sit and watch that long video with, because I don't rush through it. This beer has like almost fruity, it has a fruity, I'm getting a fruity flavor. Like, remember the Cadbury bars with fruit and nuts in them? Cadbury chocolate bar with fruit and nuts in it. I haven't had one in ages. Kind of reminds me of that, honestly. The color's coming through a little bit. Yeah. Oh, I got my Irish flute. This is a Doug Tipples Irish flute. The guy named Doug makes them. You know, some old guy, looks like he's about 80. Yeah, I gotta learn to play it. I used to be able to play these, but I haven't played one in years. So, I won't torture you too much with it right now. It's a flute. You know, that's the thing. I could take this, not like my guitar, I could take this thing, it's virtually, you know what I mean? It's going to be hard to break this. I could take it camping. I plan to take it to France. You know, it's very versatile. I'll tell you a story. One time when I was playing these, nobody liked my flute music, so I just stopped. I don't even think my dog likes it. One time I was outside when I could play these things better, and I was playing one, a flute that I made, much like this. I've made flutes. But this one's nicer than mine. That's why I bought it. I'm playing and this bee was carpenter bee, buzzing around my face. So I went, whack! It went right back to playing the song. Right in front of some people. They got a laugh out of that. That was pretty good. I whacked that bee and went right back to the song. Oh, the little things I do to amuse myself. I'll tell you, I made a mistake with my tomatoes and flowers and put them out too early this year, and they froze. They froze, dead. We got down to about 25 last night, and that did it. You know, it's April 10th, I think, the time of this recording. You don't know what you're going to get in upstate New York weather-wise. It's supposed to get up around 80 in a day or two, but it was like 25 last night. It's crazy. There's no springtime in New York, upstate. It goes from winter to the mud and ice period, and then direct to summer. But we have a prolonged autumn or fall. Oh, right in the eye. It splashed right at my eyeball. Yeah, our autumn and fall. You know, I hear something on English language. We use words that fell out of usage in Britain, you know, hundreds of years ago. Like, we'll call autumn fall, F-A-L-L, and they used to call that season of the year fall in Britain, round about Shakespeare's time, and it fell out of usage. We still use it. We use another word comes to mind is the word lumber, like for dimension wood. They don't call it that in England anymore. But I don't know what made me think of that. I'm starting to feel this a little bit. This Baltic ŻYWIEC. ŻYWIEC, yeah. Baltic Porter. ŻYWIEC. Oh, Lord. There's another difficult language. I found German language easy. French I'm having some difficulty with, but I'm going to be immersed in French here in less than 3 weeks, hopefully. Yeah, this is a strong beer. Now I'm tasting the hops, like an aftertaste, post-tasting note. I taste in the back of my palate a bitterness of hops. It's an interesting beer. Definitely worth trying, definitely. You'd do far worse with your $3, you know, than to buy a bottle of this. It's pretty interesting. It's different. It seems more like an imperial, like a stout to me. Oh yeah. Drink ŻYWIEC. Nastovia. That's Russian. Sorry. I don't know any Polish. I actually served with a guy from Poland. I take that back. He taught me some Polish words that aren't very nice. They're expletives, you might say, vulgar language. Casey Honiak was his name. He was my paratrooper buddy. We were really, really good friends. Yeah, he was. We used to have some good times, he and I, when we were like in our early 20s. We traveled all over the world together. Jumping out of airplanes, you know, doing our army job. He was a good friend of mine. I definitely would have gone to combat with him any day. And I know I could have trusted him. I fought him a couple times. You know, I fought a bunch of guys. We all fought back then. We didn't really batter each other bloody, but we'd punch each other out. I fought him a couple times, and he always lost. I mean, he got his licks in. He was about the same size as me. That's to say 6 foot. Back then, 170 pounds, maybe. And he got his licks in, but he lost. ŻYWIEC. Then we were friends again after that, you know. Nothing too serious. I've seen a lot of funny things in my Army years, I tell you. Funny things, some of them kind of raunchy, bawdy, whatever, crude. Most of it I won't share here on this channel. Maybe I will, but I've got some other things to share, definitely. I've got some plans and things that I look forward to sharing on here. To include, I want to make a video on heaven. And just, you know, I want to read what Jesus had to say about it. There really isn't anything on heaven to speak of in the Old Testament that I know of. Jesus Christ introduced us to the concept of heaven. I wonder why. Because he made it possible for us, didn't he? So I'll share what Jesus said about heaven. And then just some thoughts, you know, thoughts. But I had some other things I want to share as well. To include a beer review here and there, because I like doing these on my night off. There's really not much to do in this town. Nothing. At night, watch TV, go to bed. And I don't watch TV. And I work nights, except tonight I'm not. It's got an interesting color, doesn't it? A unique color. I couldn't find what grains they used in it. I only found that they used 4 different grains in this, and it has to me, a very unique color to it with the light. With no light, it just looks pretty much black. I hope each one of you are doing well. It's always good to hear from you. Quite often I'll read your comments and I'll say to myself, that deserves a good reply, you know, and I'm busy or something's going on. I try to get back to you. I apologize if I don't. But I do appreciate your thoughts, honestly. And the fact that anybody would even watch me do a beer review of ŻYWIEC beer. I'm drinking this bottle of hooch, really, 9.5%. For some reason, I wouldn't expect people in Poland to drink a weak beer. Oh, there's a crown on it. It's embossed. It's not on the label, it's embossed right there. Right there. There's a crown embossed on the bottle. Which goes back to the origins of ŻYWIEC Brewery, getting their charter, whatever, from the Habsburg dynasty, which started them up to brew beer. They must have loved their beer, those Habsburgs. Everybody, I think everybody did back then. Folks, this is good brew. Oh yeah. If you like dark beer, that'll get you in a Polish headlock if you have too much of it, or not even just this bottle. And you can find ŻYWIEC Porter, Baltic Porter. You could do far worse with your $3. Just make sure you don't have anything to do, and get the beer nice and cold, and get yourself some kind of classic glass, you know, worthy of it. Good to the last drop. This beer gets 2 thumbs up. I'd buy it again. I will buy it again. All right. Take care. God bless each of you.